Technology. You know, this stuff. Even this stuff. And even this stuff. And by that, I mean the ability to communicate complex ideas, thoughts, and feelings through speaking and writing. Also known as language. There are many forms of language which are all equally important, but this video will focus on verbal language. Unlike a wooden spoon, language isn't a common noun. We can't touch it. But does technology have to be a physical thing? I would say technology is a man-made tool made to improve our lives, in whatever form that is. Just like the engine in a car, language is a series of physical parts working together as a system. Instead of several pistons and a fuel source, language requires several organs and a fuel source. Over thousands of years, humans have learnt to control their bodies to produce or speak sounds. Now we teach our young how to create these sounds and what those sounds mean when you combine them with other sounds. How language began and developed over time is a bit of a mystery. What we do know for certain is that language is far bigger than just speaking and writing. It's the lens that defines culture, or more simply put, worldview. In Te Reo Māori, this is called Mātauranga Māori, roughly meaning Māori cultural knowledge and understanding. Like every language, Te Reo Māori is built upon the cultural practices and worldviews of its people. For example, the word mana cannot be neatly translated into English. It cannot be translated because it's not part of the English culture. It's unique to the way Māori see the world. This is why language is so important to each culture. Verbal language was a huge leap in human development. It unlocked the human imagination to connect with others and our world on a much deeper level. For example, animals talk to each other, but it's much different to how we talk. Not just how it sounds, but what it means. Dogs don't sit around playing cards, talking about their futures or long-lost pasts. They live very much in the moment. I'm hungry. I don't like you. I like you. I want to walk. Language meant that humans could make complex tools, coordinate seasonal hunting, and create fire. All things that have propelled humans to new heights. Language allows us to reflect back, plan forward, work together, and be creative. We've spoken about how language is built upon humans' worldviews, but there is even more to consider. Language is a system that has many systems interacting with it. Let's use English as an example. There are words which can be put together into sentences, grammar which is sort of an English rulebook, punctuation to give clarity, nouns and verbs and adjectives and adverbs and proper nouns and all those groups of words to give us a lot of flexibility, and pronunciation to make sure everyone is saying stuff the correct way, even though comb and tomb are spelled the same, but are said differently, and the alphabet with its vowels and consonants and prefixes and suffixes, but invisible means not visible, and imperfect doesn't mean anything because it has to be imperfect, but it could also be unperfect? No. Why? Because English. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of different things to learn and understand in languages, and English is a good example of this because it is full of nonsense. Language has many systems within it. These systems allow for other systems to be built on top of it. For example, if you walk into a basketball gym, you might hear about the point guard driving to the cup with a step through, finishing with an and one, and now he's heading to the charity stripe. The language of basketball is its own system. Similarly, in Australia, they speak English, but there are definitely words and phrases that have New Zealanders scratching their heads. Language is incredible, and we are now able to learn each other's languages and live in different parts of the world to learn each other's cultures. But language can also be used against other languages. A while back, some British people came to Aotearoa in boats and decided to make it their new home, which was a little tricky because Māori were already here, so they agreed to share the country by signing the Treaty of Waitangi, and everything was okay. Well, not really actually, but that's another story. In 1930, schools were banning Te Reo Māori from being used, and the Director of Education, T.B. Strong, said that Māori losing their language would be no loss to them. Māori children quickly stopped speaking Te Reo Māori and learnt English, otherwise they were beaten. And if you understand how important language is to a culture, then you'll understand how terrible it is to hurt someone for speaking their language. Language is everything. Language is a technology. It's how we see and engage with our world. It's how we communicate with others to create wonders. It's a physical skill of controlling various parts of our bodies. And finally, no language is more or less important than one another, because a language is everything to the people that use it.